You are listening to the Empath Now Podcast. Be sure to go to empathnow.com and sign up for the free Empath Now Empowerment Source. The Empath Now Empowerment Source is full of free tools and resources to help you become more empowered as an empath. This is your host, Tara McGillicuddy.
Today, I would like to welcome Linda Hillger to Empath Now. In just a moment, we're going to be talking about how the energy in your home and how clearing energy can help people who are empaths. But before we get started, welcome, Linda, and can you let our listeners know a bit about yourself and how they get in touch with you after listening to today's episode?
Hi, Tara. I am so glad to be here and talk about this topic with others and with you and bring this out to people that are working on this issue. I've been an organizer for about 20 years, working distance over the phone, giving classes and helping others to get organized. And over the years, I've come across a heck of a lot of people that are empathic and really affected by energy. So one of the things that we like to discuss is clearing that and how people can work with that. So thank you.
Okay, and what is your website address, Linda? How can people get in touch with you?
ClearYourHome.com is specifically dedicated to clearing energies in your home and working with energies so that you can get things done.
All right, let's get started talking about the topic. And the first thing we're going to talk about is when somebody's realizing they're an empath or they know they're an empath, how does it feel in their home? What are things you've noticed in relationship to this when you work with clients who are empathic or know they're empaths?
Oh my God, what a topic to start it. You know, I see two types of empaths. I see those that would consider themselves very highly organized and all of their items need to be in designated spaces so that they feel calm. And then there's another type of person that has empathic abilities and they would be overwhelmed and their stuff is usually all piled up, and they're idea people, and so there are two different kinds that I see, and with both of them, one of the things that we notice is that they are highly influenced by the energy that accumulates around their space. So that's what we tackle. We clear that connection because so often they feel overwhelmed by ideas and overwhelmed by the number of projects that they have to give their time to. And they might be affected by others' emotions in the house. So if they had let's say they had a discussion in the kitchen and it was a heavy discussion with people that they live with, and now the person's left, but they're still feeling the energy of that discussion while they're trying to, say, make dinner. And that can really clog up their mind while they're actually trying to get the project done. Does that make sense?
Yes, but how might somebody identify or realize that it's probably a good time to be clearing the energy associated with the things in their home or the people in their home? What's something somebody might feel, or what's a sign that this is a good time to do that?
Oh, if you are an empath and you're walking around your house and you're finding that as you change the spaces of your house, you can feel the people in the discussions that took place, or if someone was really sad in that room, or you're buying a new home and you walk into a home and you can just feel that emotion in the essence of the space. A lot of people will say that when they see a new space or they're in a space of someone that was upset, mad, angry, sad, any of those emotions, they can pull it in, and man, that clogs the moment. It clogs the moment for a thought in your office because you remember back and you still have that emotion connected to you, or clogs the emotion when you're going into the space. So both of those times are really important to recognize, oh, I'm being affected by this space and the energy in this space. And that's the moment to go up. I have to put a shield up. I have to close off that connection, and I'm going to clear that space now, right?
You brought up a term clogged. Right? You brought up a term clogged emotion, and you're familiar with this. I'm familiar with what you're saying. But someone who's brand new and just heard the term clogged emotion, how might they notice it in their body that they have a clogged emotion? or in their head, or how are they, someone who's like brand new to this, how are they going to know they have a clogged emotion?
A lot of times your senses actually pick up on it and tell you that you're entering a space that is heavily, it has emotion in the space. It has someone's experienced emotion in that space. So, for instance, the way it feels often is around your chest. It feels a little heavy. You can feel like slightly dizziness, almost disoriented slightly. And then if you go deeper in that moment and you just kind of feel it and say, what am I feeling from this space? A lot of times you can go, oh, it's sadness. That's what's here. Sadness is here. Let's just now go through the process of clearing and remove that from this space because ultimately we're in the 3D. We are the masters of our space for this experience during our life. So we get the right through consciousness to reign and take control of our space and clear it out anytime we want, as long as we clearly decide that. And that is the beauty of having free will and being a conscious spirit in this experience. Does that make sense at all?
Yes, it does. It does. And sadness is a big one. And it just might be that you're not be able to move forward with something you want to do if you're sitting in your office and you've been thinking about doing a presentation or a paper and you're just stuck and you've tried all the different strategies on how to move forward. You know, maybe there's something associated with your home office or wherever you are that's holding you back. So let's get into talking about ways to actually clear the energy of your home, your office, your car, whatever the space is.
Fabulous, fabulous. One of those things is to really just take a moment and get centered in yourself in time. So, for instance, let's say that I experienced a sad moment and now I walk into my office and I now want to change my mind and concentrate on things of my office. But that lingering emotion from that experience is still in me. It's still around me. It's in my gut. So at that moment, I might go, okay, I'm going to now stop. I've already experienced that sadness in an earlier time, maybe this morning or last night or a week ago, whatever that was. And now for me, what I would do is I actually picture like a line, sort of a wall going up between that moment in time that already existed and this new moment while I'm in my office. So that's the way I would clear my own self from that emotion. I would say, okay, that is in the past. Now I'm a unit here of consciousness, and I'm going to start doing this in my office. And what I would do is actually call in. You can call in your creator. You can call in any higher force that you feel connected to, or you can do it yourself because you are part of the great consciousness. So for me, I would clear that space and I would demand everything out of this space, whatever that space is. I can do my whole house. I could do my whole yard, and I would call in my creator and say, please clear all of this space so that I no longer feel connected to that lingering emotion. I'll reattend to it someday, maybe tomorrow or the next day, but for right now, I'm clearing that entire space. And for me, I like, just because it's fun, I like to have my creator bring down crystalline light love sparkles and fill the air with crystalline blessed love. And as I imagine that happening through my space, through my house, through my yard, I know that has happened. And that's the important thing, the knowing. If you are a conscious creator and you know something to be true, then it is. And if you're half guessing, I kind of want it, I kind of hope it happens, the half guessing doesn't work. The knowing it exists makes it real, for me.
Yep. And you use the word know as opposed to believe. So you know this has happened, so some people might resonate more with the word believe, but that's really important, is that intention, and you believe or you know it's going to work. And, you know, it might be something you try and have to do it a few times before you actually believe or know it's going to work. So I think some people might be listening and be like, yeah, okay, I'm not buying into this. I don't know if this is going to work. It sounds kooky, but, you know, and it's okay if you're in that mindset. Just it might take some time to practice it and do it before you know it works or you believe it works?
Lovely. Yes. In fact, it helps just to walk around and affirm it. In other words, if I clear my space, like I just did while we were talking, so I've cleared my space. So now, as I walk around my space, I'm actually seeing it done. And my consciousness is affirming that it has been done. Now, I haven't yet looked at any projects. I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking around enjoying the fact that it has been done. And what I find is it's a very interesting thing because I do clearings for other people through distance over the phone. And what I find is that other people will affirm that it feels different, that they can actually do their work, that they're relieved of that burden. So that affirmation seems to me, as we explore this topic, a really important step.
Hey, now, what you just talked about, what you did, does it matter if you say it out loud? Do you speak it out loud, or is it something you think in your head? Does it matter? Have you noticed a difference?
I think I feel like saying it in my head is more of a demand on the universe, a request to the universe, a standard to the universe than if I put it in words, because so much of the context of what we do can't be put exactly in words, but you can think it. Or if I use words, sometimes I double guess my words. Yeah. Well, the universe really doesn't. The universe knows what I want, and I'm having an experience here with the universe. So it already knows what I'm requesting and what I want to experience. So the words sort of aren't even important. It's really the context of what the outcome is. I want my space completely clear, right? So if I use the wrong word, my little head, my 3D brain might go, oh, I shouldn't have said completely. Maybe I want another word. I might double guess myself. Yeah. So
and from a practical standpoint, it's a lot easier to do it in your head, just because if you're in a room and there's 15 people, if it's kind of hard to say out loud, do this, but if you think it in your head, or it's more practical. You can basically do that anywhere with worry. You don't have to worry about what other people are going to think about you.
Love that. Yes, right. Yes. Or being with an aggressive person, putting the wall up between that person and me, and going, yeah, you're keeping that energy because that's not coming near me. So you're just going to bounce back. I'm just a unit here sharing this moment. You keep that energy. Same kind of thing. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful point.
So you just gave a great example of how to clear your energy, shift the energy. Is there another way to clear energy that you recommend, Linda?
So sometimes when you're practicing this, what really helps is using physical items. And that's when you'll come across people that use, and I'm forgetting the word for the moment, but they'll use, they'll smoke in the house. They'll use white, what is that called? White ash.
Sage.
Not ash, it's another. Oh, thank you.
Sage.
So some people, sage, love that. So some people feel like they have to do it with a 3D object. And that really just, they see the smoke in the corners of the room. So it reaffirms the fact that they've gone through a 3D exercise to do it. And so it ends up being a really good way for people to actually see it. And then, but from my perspective, I would say it's not necessary. You can do it just with your consciousness, just with your will, because we are that powerful. We're that fabulous.
But like what you were saying, when you're first starting out, some people find it more helpful to use something like sage or incense and do a ceremony. It's more about the intention. But a ritual or a ceremony might be helpful for people, especially in the beginning.
Yes, fabulous. Well said, yes. And I also know people that, like, say you had a jewelry box or a sacred box, something that you name as sacred. When you open the box, you're letting out the air that's going to clear out the room. So some people feel like that works for them. And when they open that box, it's a signal for all the space to be cleared immediately. And then they can concentrate on what they want to do. If they're making dinner or they're working in their office, writing a book, whatever they're doing, they feel like that item signifies to the universe they are clear, they are not to be interrupted. Mm-hmm. And then when they're done, they close the box and their head feels it's better. So I have seen that actually makes people feel grounded much better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, and I want to talk about the third and final one. Is something that you do. You mentioned a little bit about it when we were talking about the first thing, but you do this distant clearing of energy, and it's fascinating. You've done it for me. You've done it for other people who are skeptics. And so let's talk a little bit about that, what you do and how it helps people.
Oh, this is a little weird, but I just found over time that probably for 20 years I've been doing this for people and hearing about their space and physically describing it. So I've probably exercised that muscle a lot without being conscious of it. So what I've found is now and I'm an energy person anyway. I'm a near-death experiencer. I'm aware of energy. I'm aware of consciousness. So those things aren't a question for me. They're part of my existence since I've been a child. So those two mixed have just made me very conscious of someone in their space. If I'm connected with them over the phone, I can picture the force of energy in their space. So I think it's a very interesting sort of thing that I'm able to do because I also know clearly that we can clear any energy we want. There's not a question to me. Yeah. So it became a fun experiment to clear other people's energy space as long as they give me permission. I don't go into other people's space without their permission. But to allow consciousness to take the command of clearing and seeing what problems or things are built up as thought forms in their room. It's a very interesting experiment. And so far, people love it. People actually feel it.
Would you like
fabulous.
to try an example of it right now with me? Would you be open to doing that on the recording, Linda?
Oh, my God, that'd be so much fun. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, you have my
more
permission.
Fun just to do it. All right, cool. So, I don't want to go near where you are. Okay. I don't want to go near where you're doing this call on a computer with your computer stuff, but I can feel that electricity around your space. And so hold on. Here, we'll just keep it very simple, and I'm just going to actually fill your space. First, I'm going to clear it. So what I find is, as I look around, I know the shape of the place that you live in already, so we don't have to talk about that. But I'm just going to actually feel the kitchen. And so when I look at the kitchen, what I see is area of energy. So I feel an area of a lot of thought around your kitchen table. And not thought that you need to do anything, but that you have been passing that space over during the day. And you know what's there. You're very in command of what you've put on the table. I can feel that. And there's a lot of things on that space that you actually know what you're going to be doing with it. Almost like you're getting ready for things. That's stuff to get ready with. And so then what I would do when I clear a space like that, I don't really even have to because, man, you have great energy in your kitchen. But in terms of what you've been getting done, you just feel really good about that. But I'm just going to clear that space and tell that energy, really, I'm going to give it to my creator. I'm just going to have him take that space, all that energy, the residual energy, and then I would give it a moment and just let that space clear itself. I'm going to do the same thing with the living room and the bedroom area and the hallway and take all that stuff and just let him take that away. And then I'm going to ask for glimmering, beautiful, shimmering snowdrops of love, not water, but glimmering light to fill your space, and all of the free space to just be free-flowing and filled with love, and drop that around. And particularly in the hallway space, you've had things in the hallway that are lining the hallway that you use. And I'm just going to take any kind of stress and negative effects of that energy and clear that out. And all right, I'm going into the living room where I can feel that energy around. So let's just move that and clear it and do the same thing. I'm just going to fill that with expectation of having a great day. And that's all that it takes. And then I'm going to bless it and say thank you and thank the universe for changing that energy so that when you walk into that space, feeling something in the bedroom too, like action, life forms. So whatever is in there growing or good, it's good. It's all good. So I'm just going to clear that as well and just fill it with white light and God's love and have it be fresh and clear so that when you get off this interview, and you go into your space, you won't be pulling any old energy with you and anything you've been closed off to or conflicting ideas. That'll all be helped by this energy, and that's it. And then I would say thank you, and I would do a little prayer in my head. So there you go. That I would say that I'm done my exercise.
Wow, thank you. And just for the listeners, I'm going to give a little bit of feedback to kind of give some evidence to what you said makes sense. You talked about some energy change or something with the kitchen. And Linda, you know this. My kitchen's always been like a frustration and hot spot. And last week, I made like a huge shift. I started tackling my kitchen, got some dishes done, which for me, like dishes are just not fun, and I put them off and avoid them. So made a huge thing with that. And yeah, I've been focusing on the stuff on the kitchen table. I mean, there's a ton of stuff on it, but yeah, I'm ready to move it. So you picked up on that, and you and I hadn't talked about that recently. And there's a project I've been working on, which it's actually this, the Empath Now podcast, which I've made some significant shifts in moving forward with. The bedroom, this is interesting. I can't remember how you phrased it, but I have my piece of exercise equipment in the bedroom, and exercise is right up there with the dishes for one of the things I have challenges with. And I made some movement forward with that. So those are 3 significant things that you picked up. In the living room energy, I decided yesterday I bought new curtains for my sliding glass door. So I moved things around. So you picked up on a lot of that. And as you started doing the clearing, at first I felt like not a pain, but a pressure like in my head, which would be right above my crown chakra. As you started talking, I could feel energetic movement, like physical things, around my chest area and my throat, not pain, nothing negative. So as you were doing this, I could feel it energetically and actually physically. So those are things I really want to let the listeners know.
I really appreciate you giving that feedback because so often it has to be experienced for a person to actually see the reality of the change. Like I recently did a woman that was avoiding her family was all creeped out about a 3rd floor room. But I don't have people explain their situation at all. All I need is the shape of their house so that I know how to describe to them what I'm feeling. So in the case of this woman, her family was all creeped out about a particular room. So I was able to figure out why the room, I was able to name it, that it was the 3rd floor, that it was the front room, what was happening, and how it was affecting each of the people in her space. And it was right on, which was really fun to actually hear her affirm it. And then take care of it with some changes in the room and clearing the space, and then actually using it to be a positive space rather than a storage space. So all of those things. So really, when we're talking about consciousness, energy, how people feel energy, and how they work with it, I think we're on the brink of a huge global shift of people being conscious of this and using it to our benefit to get things done. So I love the fact that you gave me feedback on that. Thank you.
And for, you've done this for me before where I'm like, a lot of it, it's kind of embarrassing, but my dishes, Linda, I can't do my dishes. Can you? And you've done the energetic clearing, and I've made movement forward on the dishes, on projects, on other stuff. So this is something that for me has helped, and I'm imagining, or I think I know that this type of thing can help for a lot of our listeners too. So Linda, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about this fascinating stuff. And the two things you talked about are things people can do for themselves. They don't have to call you. I mean, these are strategies, things that they can do on their own, and things that take moments to do. It's not like you're saying you have to do this 30-minute, exercise or whatever it is. These are things that take moments. So I really want to thank you for that. And before we get going, Linda, are there any final thoughts that you'd like to leave people with? And can you definitely give out your website information one last time?
Well, one last fun thing that's important to recognize is that all the things you have that you own, the physical things you own, are all tools for you to get things done. And they're all meant to help you attain your goal. So a lot of times people will feel stressed about a pile of paper or a pile of ideas in their head. They're all thought forms, and sometimes that feels overwhelming. But one of the beautiful things is that they will actually respond to your energy, your thought, because consciousness is so strong. You are so strong, even though we don't see that in the moment. So you can actually ask your things to get ready to go back or go where they need to be. And you can set that intention. Get ready, because you're going to be this project. You like a pile of tools. You're going to be this project, and I'm going to help you get to that place. And what you'll find, hopefully, is that they actually help you to get ready. It feels clearer and things are easier. So that's a really important time, especially if you're busy, and a lot of empaths are busy. So with that, call me anytime, or you can check out the website at clearyourhome.com, and I'll be happy to talk with you more about it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda Hillger.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Empath Now podcast. If you have not done so already, be sure to stop by empathnow.com and sign up for the free Empath Now Empowerment Source. The Empath Now Empowerment Source is full of free tools and resources to help you live a more empowered life as an empath. And remember, you as an empath have the power and control within you to make the changes to live a happy and empowered life.